at round 7, Ryan Dungey continued his historic summer run with a 5th straight win at Millville, Minnesota. The KTM superstar now sits alone in 4th place on the all-time motocross win list. At just 22 years old, he's taken up permanent residence with the sport's all-time heroes, Carmichael, Hanna, and Johnson. Round 8 of the Lucas Oil Pro Motocross Championship continues from Washougal, Washington. The beautiful Pacific Northwest and the banks of the Columbia River Gorge welcome you to round 8 of the Lucas Oil Pro Motocross Championship sanctioned by AMA Pro Racing. This is the Peterson Cat Washougal National from Washougal, Washington. And we already have a great 450 Moto #1 in the books from earlier today. Let's show you the highlights. Mike Alessi fast all day in practice and qualifying and puts his number 800 Moto Concepts machine into the #1 position off the start.
The whole shot artist was out and he put in some fantastic laps, kept the lead. But the question was, where was Ryan Dungey?
Yeah, your series points leader. There he is in 3rd. Has to battle it out with Jake Weimer to try to get back to the #3 spot. Weimer got him. Here's Dungey trying to get him back.
Dungey going around the outside of Weimer here. Weimer doing what he should do, protecting the inside. Dungey didn't worry about that. Keeps the KTM moving on the outside. Takes the spot from Weimer. Now, the big crash.
Oh, 2nd place. Josh Grant has been looking for a good start, an opportunity to run with the leaders all year, and it ends like that.
Oh, that was just a vicious crash. He would get back up and remount, but mistakes were the theme of Moto 1 for everybody except for Mike Alessi.
Here's Dungey trying to challenge Alessi for the lead. Once he got the 2nd, he closed in and then nearly goes down. Alessi protecting the good line.
That was so close. And then here, Dungey trying an outside line. Berm blows out, lays the KTM down.
Now it looked like Alessi would have an easy time of it from there, but Dungey would actually catch back up after the crash and set up a last lap showdown. But Alessi doing a phenomenal job covering the lines, and for the first time this year, Mike Alessi has won a moto. Show you the results from this one. Dungey a very close 2nd, Weimer in 3rd. Great racing there in the first moto.
And how about Weston Pike riding the privateer Suzuki out of Wildomar, California? Top 10, finishes 9th. Great moto.
Well, hello, everyone. Jason Wygant, joined by 4-time AMA National Champion Jeff Emig here at Washougal. Mike Alessi said the first plan, lead some laps. The 2nd plan, turn those laps led into a moto win, and then maybe follow it up with an overall. So that's the big question, Jeff. Can he get that overall win? Can he deliver in Moto 2?
Well, Dungey is extremely strong, and he did make a mistake, but I believe that Mike Alessi can. But he has to follow the same game plan as Moto 1. He's got to get the whole shot. He's got to ride clean laps. And even though Dungey made a mistake and gave him a little gift there, he really didn't take advantage of it because Dungey reeled him back in. But Alessi rode the inside lines, and at the end of the race, he finished strong, and that's what you have to do to beat Ryan Dungey, is to be strong and consistent.
All right, well, it's very interesting now that we have someone to challenge Ryan Dungey. We'll see how it turns out. For more, let's send it down to the starting line and Tiffany Simons.
Ryan, now that you've had a moment to kind of take it all in after that moto, when you look at this start, how much more importance do you place on this than what you have maybe in the past?
I mean, I think even the first moto, it's the start's a lot of everything, you know, in racing. You know, it's the only place you can pass the whole field. So that first moto, you know, we got off to a decent start. It wasn't, you know, wasn't out front, but you know, that's where Mike was, and he had a good start. But this moto, we'll have to get that start, you know, and it just makes things a lot easier. You know, you can ride your lines, put the bike where you want it. But you know, absolutely looking forward to it.
All right, good luck to you.
Thank you.
Let's make our way over now to Mike Alessi, who was the guy who took the first moto. Mike, you did what you've said you were trying to do all season long, which was win. How much pressure are you putting on yourself to back that up?
Just go out there and have a great race. There's no pressure, just, you know, just the love of the sport, you know, going out there competing and and just racing to our full ability. I mean, at the end of the day, it's called racing. It's not called winning and losing, and that's not what it's about. It's about just going out there and having the pure joy of enjoying the race. And if the win comes, that's awesome. If we get second, that's fine. I mean, we just go out there and just do the best that we can and have fun. And these fans are great this weekend and cheering us on. And it was intense, that first moto, for about 35 minutes, just going at it. So it's great. I'm looking forward to this second moto and having some fun and trying to do the best that I can.
Good luck to you.
Thank you.
All right, Alessi trying to take the pressure off, going to enjoy the moment here, but you know deep down inside he won't be happy unless he gets the W. Stay with us. You know, you can go out and buy a GoPro and shoot all the cool stuff you do, although it takes someone special to shoot that. Jumping out of a helicopter and coming right down to the starting line at Washougal. Our 450 riders are ready to race here in the Pacific Northwest. Here's the track they'll race on. Time for the Kawasaki track map, brought to you by the championship-proven Kawasaki KX250F, engineered for the moment of proof.
All right, off the start, these 450s going to be in second gear, shifted up to third, maybe even fourth. By the time you get to this right-hander, you now have the rider with the whole shot. Up the first uphill, where the rider's going to take a tremendous amount of roost if you don't get a good start. Up another hill to the highest part of the track. Got these two drop-offs now here in the second motos. Coming down into these turns, it's going to be really rough on the braking sections. The ruts in the turns are going to be really deep. It's going to be difficult here in the second moto, especially when you get into the tree sections because of the shade. And some places are sunny, some places are shade. Plays little tricks with your eyes. Up through this Red Bull area and that massive tabletop. Pretty fast section, and then this big booter jump over here in the back of this Lucas Oil turn. Now you come down into the last straightaway, coming down into the trees, and this is where it tends to get really dark. Shadows are bad. Make a right-hander. Upshift to third, possibly fourth. Try to get the bike in a high gear. Carry some momentum over those whoops, which is the finish line. Tightest section of the track. Cornering ability is key right here. And that's the red plate holder, Ryan Dungey. He had the fastest lap in practice today, wins the Oakley Bomb Award, but it was in doubt. Most of the day, it looked like Mike Alessi was going to have the fastest qualifying time. At a 2:07, and then right at the end of second qualifying practice, Dungey notched 2:05. Now here's a GoPro mounted on a motocross rider. It's Josh Grant, who had a great start in the first moto. And here he's chasing Mike Alessi off the start. Watch this, jump down into the ocean of fans right here. One of my favorite sections on this Lucas Oil Pro Motocross circuit. If you've got the whole shot like Mike Alessi does and you drop down, this was the first moto of the day, just an awesome feeling. But listen to the roost hit Josh Grant's bike here. This is a section where it's really fast. I mean, you're just getting pelted at this point. But look at the speeds they're coming through these sections right now. Big jump here over the top. Back on the brakes, try to thread the needle through these ruts, accelerate once again, and look at the difference between the light areas and the shade as you come down through here. When it gets rutted and rough, this second moto, it's really tough to see. You got to be really careful through that section. Gonna make a right, do a double, do a triple, triple again, now get on top, ride the rear wheel. Josh Grant leads us around there with the GoPro. Let's go to our FMF keys to the race. What is it going to take to beat Ryan Dungey today? Well, you got to start ahead of him like you did, because once he gets out front, he could be gone. And you just got to give it 100% all the way to the checkered flag. We know Dungey is the strongest guy out there, but Mike Alessi forced him to make some mistakes by just never giving up and giving it 100% all the way to the checkered flag. And Mike Alessi breaks Dungey's moto win streak. Can he break the overall streak, though? Yeah, 5 straight overalls for Dungey. He had 10 straight moto wins. That streak is over, as you said. Jeff, we've been talking about it both in this 450 class and also in the 250 division of this series. Ryan Dungey may be the fastest guy, but you said there are ways to try to win races even if you're not the fastest, and that's what Mike Alessi figured out how to do in Moto 1. Yeah, this is one of those tracks where if you really guard the insides and if your pace is good and you watch your lines, you force the other rider behind you who's faster to try to do something special. In Moto 1, Dungey was trying hard. He made a mistake in the process, and it cost him. All right, the best 450cc motocross riders in the business right now are lined up.
Josh Grant, by the way, who was second early in that first moto and crashed, came back to finish 17th. He's got a clean bill of health. He's going to give it another run here. Can he extract some revenge? Andrew Short, Justin Brayton, 4th and 5th in that moto. They would like to be a little closer to the front as well. Here we go. Looks like Dungey's got the start, this time ahead of Alessi. Alessi's teammate Vince Freezy there as well. But Dungey knew he needed to focus on getting ahead of Alessi early, and he has done that.
Dungey out front here. Look at Alessi. This time he's taking the roost. Oh, and look at the water on the track. Look how slippery it is right there. Alessi losing traction, almost going down early.
Here's that jump downhill, and the fans react. They see Dungey and Alessi 1-2. Andrew Short going to try to give a challenge on the Chaparral Honda 3rd. Tommy Hahn 4th. I think that might have been Grant toward the front as well.
Grant and Rattray look like they're rounding out somewhere around the top 10.
And now through this tight section of the course, Alessi got to do everything he can to stay with Dungey. First couple laps, Alessi definitely has some speed. Late in the race, Dungey always seems to rally. So this is a critical juncture right now. Look at Short trying to set up Alessi.
Short had a pretty good ride the first moto in 4th. Few of the Honda guys. Brayton was up there in 5th. Tommy Hahn was 7th.
And a hard left-hand turn, and they're going to head back downhill. See Dungey still in the picture. Alessi can still see him early on this first lap of the second moto. Now into the trees.
Yeah, you heard Mike Alessi. He seemed to be pretty content with that moto win. Oh, and he almost makes another mistake, or he makes a mistake, almost goes down. See how even the whoop section here is shaded now, and it wasn't in Moto 1. And I remember in my career, this was a difficult time of the day to race this track, because now the track, which was perfect in qualifying practice, loads of traction, lines were great. Now it's really hard packed. It's dry and slippery in some spots. They put down some water to control the dust, like this section here. But then that hard clay underneath, it's got a little bit of rock in it. It's really, really slippery. And this is where throttle control, trying to keep the traction, all that stuff becomes of major importance.
Watching Short here, and Tommy Hahn right behind him. They're on similar equipment, different teams, but Short's Chaparral Honda team leases a factory Honda, which is what Tommy Hahn is racing on for the Muscle Milk team. And then a pair of Kawasaki's behind him, Tickle and Weimer, duking it out in 5th and 6th. And it's Mike Brown. Freezy is 8th. Grant and Brayton rounding out the top 10. Hahn has had a difficult season so far. A lot of bad luck for the 32.
Yeah, and you can see, look on the handlebars of Tommy Hahn's bike here. Notice he's got those hand guards. Now that's to protect his hands from the rocks and the debris and everything that flies up, as he did suffer an injury to his hand earlier this season.
Let's get a little analysis here about what it's like to race on one of the most beautiful tracks in this championship. Tommy Hahn talks about Washougal.
Washougal's really beautiful because it's up there in the mountains and there's trees everywhere. It's real green. There's a lot of shade. The track is really unique. The dirt's very deceiving. It looks like it can have a lot of traction and be really good, but it's got a real hard base and it's kind of rocky. And with there being so many trees, it gets shadows as well too. So in your second moto, you can feel bumps that you don't see. So that can be kind of interesting. But yeah, it's a real beautiful track with the scenery around, and it's not too far outside of Portland, so there's a lot to do.
I love that line there. You can feel bumps that you can't see. And through this section, that downhill section that weaves down here to this whoop section, that's one of those key places where you're just hard on the brakes down through there. And because of the shadows going light to dark, it's hard to see it.
Kawasaki boys putting the heat on the 32 of Hahn right now. That's Weimer on the 21. And Justin Brayton going down here.
Oh, face plant there, the number 10 on the Muscle Milk Honda rider. Look at his visors broken off, and I'm trying to see which section of the track that is. Luckily, he gets out of the way of the other riders. Flagger needs to unroll his flag there.
Brayton had a nice run going the last couple of motos, was 5th in Moto 1 and was inside the top 10 early here in Moto 2. but that might be the end of his day at Washougal. Definitely took a big hit there. Let's watch Weimer, who is third in Moto 1, going to work on Hahn, try to take the 4th place spot.
And look at the roost. Look at the roost coming up through there. That stuff hurts.
Yeah, it's nice being in a booth and not having to. It's nice having to think about what it might feel like instead of actually feeling it.
Yeah, I can definitely attest to that. It doesn't hurt nearly as bad in here. I feel for these guys, don't get me wrong.
Yes.
But I did my time. It's over. Enough of these guys. The tires on the back of these 450s, they really hook up here.
And then behind the 21 of Weimer is Tickle. And then another Kawasaki will come through next. That'll be Grant. Tickle's had a solid season on the Monster Energy Pro Circuit Kawasaki, normally a 250 team. They have him up on the big 450 bike.
Tickle was 6th in Moto 1, running 6th now. Our leader, Ryan Dungey's last lap was a 2:11, and Tickle's a bit off the pace at a 2:15.3. See right there.
Here's Grant.
Fastest, though.
And you see he's not quite matching the time of Dungey either, but still in the hunt here with this battle for the top 5 of Weimer and Tickle.
The fact that Grant is even on that Kawasaki right now after that crash in Moto 1, it was so vicious because he just made that little mistake and it flung him around, just spun him around.
How about this guy, Mike Brown, still with us. Raced the last couple of weekends. 41 years old, I believe, and this guy won his first ever national at this track back in 1995. Mostly races off-road events, had a gold medal at the X Games in Enduro Cross.
1995, I was there that day. I rode the big bikes, though, but yeah, 1995.
Have you had some battles with Brown in your time?
Oh, yeah, surely. Yeah.
And then right behind him, Freezy. And how about Noren, one of the Swedish riders out here inside the top 10. And then you've got Christian Craig on the 43. And Kyle Chisholm, who is the teammate of Grant in this battle as well. So Craig on the Lucas Oil Troy Lee Honda trying to go after the Swede.
Yeah, it's just, you just really have a hard time seeing those Lucas Oil bikes, you know what I mean?
Yeah, they're not very distinctive.
Troy Lee, who does all their design and all that, owns the team. Just, he's not afraid to put some color out there.
Look at Noren. Frederick Noren goes from outside to inside, nice in front of Freezy, looking for a top 10.
Drag race up the hill, here we go. Freezy trying to find a little drive, not gonna happen.
He's always into the number 9 spot. Raced most of the series last year with us. Here comes Freezy right back, and he bumps him. Now Freezy's not afraid to rub elbows or bump elbows, apparently.
Yeah, and Freezy actually got into it earlier today in qualifying practice with Weston Pike. And not a good situation. The AMA hasn't given us a word what the result of that was going to be, but that's Freezy's game. He's not afraid to mix it up. Got the position back.
And then behind this battle, you've got Craig and Chisholm, and then Pike himself is in 13th, not too far behind Freezy. They've got some scores to settle. Yeah, Frederick Noren out of Sweden trying to set Freezy back up. This is a great battle here between about 5 riders, all looking for a piece of the top 10. Freezy, by the way, is the teammate of Alessi on the Moto Concepts 450. And Freezy was 14th in Moto number 1. Noren trying to come back on him as we head back down into the trees.
Man, battling it out here, trying to get those valuable points inside the top 20.
He's got him. Noren makes the move. That'll move him back into 9th. Freezy 10th, and Mike Brown not too far in front of them in 8th. There's Chisholm trying to make a move on Craig. Pike, who is 9th in Moto 1, is right behind them. Rattray and Derek Anderson coming as well. This is a battle. Stay with us. And right now we're watching the 450 division, and Ryan Dungey trying to re-establish himself as the boss of this class. Took a rare loss in Moto number 1, finished a close second to Mike Alessi. He had won 10 straight motos. But in motocross, you race twice in one day, and we combine the scores to determine an overall winner. And if you go 2-1 for the day, you're going to win overall. And that's what Dungey's working on right now, Jeff.
Yeah, he's textbook ride right here. Dungey is so strong, and especially in the second moto. Okay, he got beat in the first moto today, but you just go 1 week ago. In the second moto, he won by over a minute. Typically, you get a lead of 20 seconds. That's huge, okay? And you might back it down, just kind of take it easy. Dungey really only knows one way to ride. And consequently, the second moto, he just demolished the competition, which included Alessi, Short, Weimer, all these other riders. Right now, Alessi's putting in a pretty strong ride. It's only 7.1 seconds behind at the finish line last time around. This is the type of track that suits Mike Alessi. He showed it by winning the first moto, but just overall, he comes here with a good attitude. I really felt that it was going to take the whole shot, or maybe even a stroke of luck here as the second moto continues on to actually win the overall. But the effort that Mike Alessi put in the first moto was just spectacular.
Yeah, getting that win. Only the third rider to win a moto this year. Of course, James Stewart had a couple of moto wins to begin this championship. He's out right now with an injury. Let's go back to third place, Andrew Short on the Chaparral Honda, and then the rider that was behind him, Jake Weimer, has now lost a couple of spots while we were away at break. Weimer went down and I believe picked himself up in the number 7 spot. Take us through this crash.
Yeah, Weimer gets into this left-hander here, and it looks like he probably leaned a little bit in, and his left foot gets caught under the bike. Has a little bit of trouble getting out there. Plus, you notice he keeps grabbing the left side of the handlebar. That's where the clutch lever is, especially with these 4-strokes. If you keep the clutch in, the engine has enough momentum, and inertia in there to keep the engine running, because you don't want to stall the bike. And then you got to start it back up, and all takes a little bit more energy, takes more time. So even though it was a mistake, he actually recovered pretty well.
Battle brewing here between Hahn, who's now 4th, and Tickle, who is 5th. Hahn had a pretty solid run last week in Minnesota, finished 7th in Moto 1, but then had an allergic reaction to he's not sure what between motos, and couldn't race. And Hahn told me that he's not going to let it get him down. He's basically just going to keep on charging. He knows eventually his luck's got to turn.
Watch, here's the replay of Justin Brayton face planting. Has the whereabouts to get up and get off the track.
And Tiffany, I believe, has an update on Justin Brayton. Tiffany.
Well, guys, I just spoke with Justin, and he was trying to recap what happened. And in that moment, you don't really have an accurate point of view. You just know you fell off your bike. He said he was coming over that hill, and he landed in a hole. He explained it's very hard to see how this track is all laid out, as you guys mentioned at the beginning of the show, because of where the sun is at this point of the day. He told me he's fine. He's a little shaken up, and he's mostly disappointed in what he was hoping to have a really good weekend. Guys?
Yeah, just as I suspected there, get into the shadows, those dark sections, it makes it tough to see. Even Tommy Hahn here, who we're looking at, 32 on the Honda, mentioned, you feel bumps that you can't see. Now Brayton, who's sitting 6th in points, going to take a little hit this time with this, obviously going to have a DNF here in Moto 2.
He was on a real roll, finished 2nd overall at Redbud and finished 4th last week. Here's the battle, Hahn and Tickle. Right now on 4th and 5th with the Brayton out of this one. Weimer has dropped to 7th after his fall. And we also lost Mike Brown from the group. He must have had a crash or maybe a bike problem, not sure. He was in 8th, but he's now at the back of the field. So we'll focus on this. The 32 and the 25, Hahn and Tickle.
Honda Kawasaki going at it. Tickle getting a little wide there. Look at these riders. Now they're really starting to, lapped rider down there.
Yeah, Tickle just able to avoid him. And they'll be heading into those dark shadows right now. And man, those ruts are deep. You have to pick your way through there blind. It cannot be easy. We'll keep following Tickle as he tries to challenge Hahn for the number 4 spot. Dungy getting away. You're watching Lucas Oil Pro Motocross Racing from Washougal, Washington. Here's Josh Grant in the number 6 position. Been a rough day for him. Was fast in practice, had a great start in our first race, but then a big crash. Managed to persevere, came back, finished 17th in the first race, and here he is running 6th in Moto 2. Not for that crash. Who knows where he would be? He was looking for a little bit of momentum. Seemed like he was in a position to get it, but that fall definitely cost him. And, well, how about this? We actually have the GoPro footage of Grant's crash. It was right in this section, Jeff.
Unbelievable. Watch, he goes wide. He high sides a little bit. Notice the GoPro gets bent down a little bit right there, but he got up pretty quick and got off the track and got back on the bike, and he was 17th after that.
Unbelievable. Yeah. Probably was about last, I would say, by the time he got up and recovered. Then passed 20-some riders to get into 17th. Solid run for him. And then behind him, next in the order, will be Weimer, who, as we saw, had a crash, not as hard, but still one that cost him some time earlier in this race. That has dropped him from 4th to 7th. Still, it has been a very good season for Weimer. And last year, his first full-time on the 450 was not probably as strong as he wanted it to be. A big improvement for Weimer here in 2012.
Last year was tough for me. Coming off the injury that I had, which, you know, was, I mean, it was serious, but it wasn't like career-threatening or anything like that. But for whatever reason, I had a tough time getting back into the swing of it once I was healthy. And so this year, you know, more time on the bike, more time with the team. Everything just kind of seems to be gelling better. I'm enjoying it, and that's probably one of the biggest things. Initially, I think I felt some pressure just with him being gone, and he had a great Supercross series and eventually, you know, won the championship and a lot of race wins in between. It's been good for me to step up and be able to kind of handle the pressure, whether there was some or not. I felt that there was, and I felt like I stepped up a little bit, so that's good for me. It's been that way since 2006. Anaheim won 2006. It's been that way before that, since I was an amateur. I don't like it. I would like it to be different, but it's fuel for my fire. Washougal, as far as outdoors goes, is definitely the home race for me. It's still a ways from where I grew up, but it's the closest stop that we have. And I grew up racing here a little bit. I would always do my Loretta Lynn qualifiers, and there's always more family, more friends. It's kind of like being in a time machine, because you know, you show up and they've got the same announcer since I was a little kid, Brian Barnes. So it's almost just completely being in a time machine, and I like coming back to it.
Jake Weimer out of Rupert, Idaho. Of course, like most of these riders, eventually migrated to Southern California and then does spend some riding and training time in Florida as well. Certainly good to come home. I'm sure he's got some friends and family he does not get to see all the time here. Wanted to deliver a podium overall for them. Got third in Moto 1, but that crash here in Moto 2 may cost him.
Yeah, and Weimer, last lap around was a 2:14.4. There's his mechanic, buddy Dana Wiggins, checking it out, listening to all the chatter on the team radio, talking about different things.
And behind him, the Swede, Fred Noren, still solid in 8th. Craig is 9th, and Chisholm is 10th. So that's 2 of the Jeff Ward Racing Kawasaki's inside the top 10. And then behind him is Pike and Freeze, 11th and 12th. As we said, Pike and Freeze had a little fisticuffs earlier today in practice. Guess they kept it clean here in the Moto, at least. And we'll hold here and try to see if Noren comes through in the number 8 spot. He was on the Honda. Yeah, backed by MX Heaven. There he goes by. Here's Craig on the number 43 Lucas Oil Troy Lee Honda. Craig trying to race his way back into shape. Had a wrist injury dating back almost a year ago that never healed properly. Only got back really the clean bill of health about 3 weeks ago at a race in Redbud. So he lost almost a year with that injury, and then previous to that had lost almost a year with a back injury. So he's had a rough go of it.
Yeah, and of course, Christian Craig here, the son of Mike Craig, used to be a teammate of mine, racer back in the 90s, I should say, 80s, 90s. Christian Craig's got a great technique and a great style. He's really fluid. He uses his height to his advantage. Sometimes he's riding that 450 Honda. Sometimes it makes it look like a super mini, you know, like he's riding an 80 or something, because he really, you know, manipulates it with his weight front and back because he's so tall.
So there's Noren in 8th and had to fight for it. Remember, battled with Freezy earlier on. Then it is Craig on the 43. Chisholm will come through next. And Chisholm has company from the 54 Pike. And Pike, this is his first motocross race of the year. Didn't race this Lucas Oil Pro Motocross Championship. Didn't have a ride. Went to a dealership and bought 2 Suzukis. Rode locally, raced some local races, and here he is up front.
Yeah, it's crazy because he started the season on a Kawasaki. Yeah. Then rode a Yamaha through part of the Supercross Championship. Now he's on a Suzuki. That in itself, to ride 3 different bikes in a calendar year, is really difficult. But this guy's gnarly. You see his beard?
He got in that fight with Freeze earlier today. That's probably the last guy you want to fight with. It's Pike. He's one of the bigger dudes out here, and he's going after Chisholm right now for a piece of the top 10. Earlier in the day, we completed the first moto of the women's motocross class here at Washougal. We'll give you the highlights here. Great championship battle brewing between our defending champ, Ashley Follick, there, the number 1. Jessica Patterson is your points leader, but is riding with a hand injury, and the number 3, Tara Geiger, in the mix as well. Here is Patterson battling with Geiger for second, but there was no stopping Ashley Follick in this one. She won the overall last week at Millville, 2 weeks ago at Redbud. Patterson trying to keep the pressure on here despite the hand injury, and there is Geiger as well. It was close early, but Follick just systematically able to put some distance between herself and the field. Grabs another moto win. That's her 5th on the season, and inching a little bit closer to Patterson in the championship. See Geiger not too far back in 3rd. NBC Sports Network is your home for Olympic soccer, featuring the U.S. women's quest for a 3rd consecutive gold medal. Coverage begins Wednesday, leading up to opening ceremonies Friday on NBC. And this is a beautiful place to come not just watch a motocross race. The track itself very scenic, but the entire area around here, Portland, Oregon, and the Columbia River, it doesn't really get much better than this, especially if you're Ryan Dungey, who has won this race a bunch. 2-lap card now out, 2 laps to go for Dunge. Won his first race on the national level, motocross-wise, at this track, and has not lost here since that day.
Yeah, he's actually won 4 in a row. 2 on a 250, which is the smaller displacement division, and now 2 on the 450. And what's interesting, he's on his way here to another overall, which will be 3 overalls in a row in the 450 class. No rider, not even my buddy Ricky Carmichael, has done that.
Yeah.
But Carmichael does have the record. He's got 2 250 wins and 4 450 wins here. So 6 total between the 2 classes. Dungey completes this moto in first. He's going to give him 5. So he's getting closer.
Yeah, and like we said, it's been all in a row. And the rider he had to beat to get that first win in 2008 was Ryan Villopoto. Ryan Villopoto, of course, the hometown favorite at this track. He's out injured this year. But Dungey was able to hold a furious charge from Villopoto back that day, and that really started to build the momentum. Again, it was the first win for Dungey in this championship as a pro. He had come so close battling with Villopoto time and time again. And once he got it, he has won quite a few. Here it is, 2008. Villopoto crashed in the last lap trying to make a move. Dungey cruises across the finish line with the win. The next year was embroiled in a great championship fight with Christophe Porcel. That was a clutch victory in the 250 class that day. And here he is on the 450 in 2010. Takes another win there. And here he is last year. Got to face off against Villopoto again. Second in Moto 1, wins Moto 2. And here he is, congratulations. He was riding for the Rockstar Makita Suzuki team at the time. Congrats from his old team manager, Mike Webb. There he is with Villopoto on the podium 365 days ago, and now on the Red Bull KTM looking to win again. So as much as we build up Dungey's success at his home track at Millville, Minnesota, he has been just as good, if not better, here in Washington.
Yeah, and there's these tracks, once you have success there, that you really look forward to coming back, especially if they're in a row, okay? Like we are with Millville, Washougal here. White flag comes out, 1 more lap for Dungey. And you know, after that first moto, when he got beat by Michael Lessie, he fell in this turn that he just went through trying to make the pass. He was pretty fired up. He was not happy doing that podium speech. But now he's once again backed it up, 23 seconds ahead of Michael Lessie right now. Not quite the beating that he put on him in the second moto 1 week ago, where he won by over a minute. But nonetheless, this is the type of second moto where you say, okay, 20 seconds going to be good enough at this one, because as we've seen here today, this track can just reach up and grab you and pull you off the bike. A bunch of guys have gone down in some weird spots here today. So Dungey just trying to keep that Red Bull KTM in line. Whoa, right there.
Right there.
Notice that. That's lower left section of the track there. those hard, slippery spots.
Well, he's got a little extra fitness today because Sunday, after taking the win last weekend on Saturday in Minnesota, hosted a little charity bike ride called the Minnesota Major. Had over 300 spectators on hand. They got to ride bicycles along with Dungey, and they raised over $20,000. And here's some clips. There's Dungey taking off. That was through downtown Minneapolis. And that was for St. Jude's Children's Hospital that they raised money for. That's a cause pretty close to Dungey. Not only is he good friends, of course, with Lance Armstrong with the Livestrong Foundation, but he lost his own grandmother to cancer a couple of years ago. So he does whatever he can to raise funds for cancer research and for St. Jude's Children's Hospital. There we go. That's pretty cool to be able to ride with Dunge for the day.
Yeah, but they did 100 miles. He did 100 miles the day after the National.
I know. Should be tired.
Yeah. I don't even want to drive 100 miles tomorrow, let alone ride a bicycle.
You didn't even race today.
Yeah, not even ride.
He takes it all in stride. Here is Dungey through the tree section for the last time. He has retaken control of this series. Alessi gets the first moto win. A bit of an upset there. As Alessi said, it's the underdog team. Dungey got the start this time, and he's going to get the finish as well. For the 5th straight year, Ryan Dungey is a winner here at Washougal.
That is a really impressive run, and what a rebound from Moto 1 where he was challenged. Came up a little bit short, but keeps that win streak. 5 overalls in a row, keeps it intact.
Unbelievable what he has been able to do. Once James Stewart went out, they were battling big time early in this championship. Stewart now out with an injury, and Dungey has not lost an overall since. We're going to have a couple of weekends off. We'll see if Dungey can pick up where he left off. But before we say goodbye to him, we will talk to him on the podium right after this. Turn on the NBC Sports Network. Here are your results. Yeah, the Indy Series. RHR's got a little win streak going, but a big win streak going for this man. Ryan Dungey has another overall win because he won the second moto today at Washougal. Mike Alessi, a good solid day. He takes a moto win and a second. Andrew Short, 3rd, 4th. Jake Weimer, 5th after a crash. Good comeback for him. And how about the speed? Frederick Noren finishing 8th. I think that's a career best for him. Let's send it down to Tiffany on the podium with our winner.
Ryan, you've never been a guy who comes across as one who takes winning for granted. But after what happened in Moto 1, did that jolt you a little bit?
Yeah, it did. You know, I mean, it was kind of kicked the flame in a little bit under my butt. You know, I really, I don't like that. You know, I really feel like we had it, but it's racing. You know, sometimes it just doesn't happen. But you know what? All in all, on the day, it was amazing. You know, I really feel like we did what we had to do, especially in that second moto. Made a couple changes, and that really helped. But I felt great, and you know, it's a bummer, but you know, I got a lot to be thankful for, and very fortunate and blessed to be up here and with another overall.
Congratulations to you.
Thank you,
guys.
And let's show you those overall results. Alessi finishes 2nd. He and Dungey tie on points of the day. The tiebreaker goes to the better second moto finish. Andrew Short on the podium overall, edging Weimer. And Weston Pike in his first race of the year on bikes he bought from a dealership finishes in the top 10 overall with a 9th.
Pretty awesome.
Let's send it back down to Tiffany.
Mike, best finish of the season. You told me you'd be all right if you got 2nd. You still feel that way?
Yeah, 2nd's great. You know, it's great. I'm making improvements. 12 months from right now, last year I was like 7th or 8th. So this is a huge improvement for me. I want to stay positive, stay consistent. Going into this break, I feel really good now. I just want to thank all my sponsors. First, I want to talk actually about the race. It was a great start. Dungey got me on the start, and that was pretty much it. That was it, history, and he controlled it. I tried my best to stay with him, but yeah, he was just riding too good, and I gave him my best that first moto. So it was a big stepping stone for me to win a moto in 2 years. And I just want to thank all my sponsors, JT Racing, We All Ride, FMF, Dunlop, Super Sprox, everybody watching in Europe right now. This is live, so thank you to all the fans for supporting us and being behind us. MB1 suspension, tough racing. These fans are crazy right now. So thanks again to all the sponsors for supporting us, and for Mike Genova for taking a chance on me. Like I said in the first moto, it's just we're like the underdogs right now. Nobody believed in his team, and nobody was believing in me this time last year. And I feel great this time around, and I'm just thankful for the opportunity to be with Moto Concepts. And we're going to keep plugging away.
Well, you got to break before you got to plug away again. Congratulations, guys.
Yeah, there will be 2 weekends off before we resume racing in Massachusetts. There's the points for Dungey. They tied on the day, so it remains an 80-point gap, but Alessi added a little bit more to his lead over Weimer for third in the standings. And we'll send it back down to the podium one more time with Andrew Short.
Andrew Short, third place. It's been a while since you've been on this podium. What do you think happened today that resulted in such a great finish?
I always go really good on this track. I've had some success in the past on light spikes and even in the 450 class. So first podium since Colorado. Obviously Colorado's home for me, so to do it here, it feels amazing. I want to thank Chaparral, Bel Ray, Western Power Sports, Fly Racing. Good Lord Jesus Christ, I feel so blessed to be out here racing in this atmosphere and doing what I love.
Congratulations to you.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Guys.
All right, Andrew Short, solid day today on the Chaparral Honda. We'll be back with more from Washougal right after this. Let's give you the Lucas Oil race recap, show you the highlights of the race we just completed here from Washougal, Washington.
Well, most of the top contenders agreed that it was going to be the start that was going to be the most important. This time, Dungey gets it, never looks back.
Got Alessi, your first moto winner, right behind him. Alessi did everything he could to keep Dungey in sight early, but it's hard to stop the number 5 once he gets the lead. Big crash for Justin Brayton. This section of the track was particularly difficult today. Brayton was out of the moto after that. Then Weimer had a crash of his own.
Makes
goes down here.
Yeah, a little slip up here, gets his foot caught and loses some spots.
Dungey had no problems. He takes the overall win. Let's send it back down to Tiffany with Jake Weimer.
Jake, people at home just got to see that crash replay again. Can you talk us through what happened?
Just an error on my part. Not a great start. I think I was in 4th. A position that I had a shot at a podium for the day, and I was just pushing and just kind of came in a little bit hot and was laid over and just kind of hit the dirt. So that was that. My left leg was kind of stuck under the bike, so it kind of took me a minute to get up, but that was a bummer for sure. You know, I wanted to be up front in the second moto, but, you know, we got a couple weeks off now. It's time to, you know, keep grinding and try and chip away. And big thanks to my team, Monster Energy Kawasaki, for sticking behind me, and all my sponsors, Thor and Alpine Star, Von Zipper, Vans, Young and Reckless. Everybody that's behind me, thank you.
Thanks, Jake. Guys.
Well, it is all about grinding it out. We'll take a 2-week break, and these riders will be back to do that in August from Motocross 338 in Massachusetts. For Tiffany Simons and Jeff Hemming, I'm Jason Wygant. Thanks for joining us for a great day of racing at Washougal. Congratulations to our overall winner, Ryan Dungey.